AirPower is the easiest way to sync your Shopify Metaobjects with Airtable. Let's see how it works in practice with a quick example. Here we'll be syncing our Metaobjects to Airtable using an existing sync profile, and we'll use another existing sync profile to sync the Metaobject data back to Shopify. Let's start with syncing from Shopify to Airtable. This sync profile is already set up to sync our products and our orders into an existing base. To that, we'll add syncing of one of our Metaobjects. As you scroll down, you'll see that AirPower has created a section for each Metaobject that you have. With AirPower, you sync individual Metaobject types into their individual tables so that each row represents a particular Metaobject instance. Now that we've opened the section, we're being asked if we want to set up a sync to an existing table or a new one. We're not yet syncing this Metaobject data anywhere, so we'll just create the default table that AirPower sets up for us. AirPower will set up a table for this Metaobject, including columns for all the fields in it. So we just click the button, and AirPower sets up a table for our Metaobject and sets up the sync configuration with all the relevant Metaobject fields to sync into the right columns. We'll now save the sync profile. We see here that AirPower has created the table, and we have columns for all the fields in the Metaobject. We'll wait a few seconds for AirPower to automatically populate this table. AirPower automatically populates Metaobject tables when data is syncing from Shopify to Airtable. We can now see that the information is in our table, with all the relevant fields that we have defined for this Metaobject. Next, we'll see what it takes to sync Metaobject data back to Shopify. In this case, we want to update the rating for this particular retailer. If we go to Shopify, we'll see that the retailer has the old value before we initiate the sync. Now that we've modified the value in Airtable, we need to start a sync to Shopify. In this example, we'll open up our Airtable to Shopify sync profile, which is currently set up to sync product data, and we find the configuration for our Metaobject. When we open that section, we now need to set up the data in the existing table we have. We need to map the fields that we want in the drop-down. In the drop-down, you'll see the standard fields that Shopify has on all Metaobjects, along with the custom ones that belong only to this Metaobject. We'll set up a sync of all 4 fields. We now save our sync profile. And now that we've saved our settings, we go back to our dashboard and we queue up an Airtable to Shopify sync. AirPower will now read the Metaobject information from our base and sync it to Shopify. The Airtable to Shopify sync has finished. So now we'll go back to our Shopify store, we'll refresh the page for this retailer, and we see that the rating value has been updated. If we update the rating value here and save it, very soon AirPower will sync this value back to our Airtable base. If we wanted to create a new Metaobject instance, we simply add a new row and fill out the relevant fields. We now go back to AirPower and we trigger an Airtable to Shopify sync. When the sync runs, it will create a new instance for our Metaobject with the data we provided in Airtable. Our Airtable to Shopify sync is finished. Now we go back to our meta object in Shopify. And we see that our new entry has been successfully added to our Shopify store. And that is how easy it is to sync meta object information between Shopify and Airtable with the AirPower app.